It's time for the November for the Love of Crafting and Sharing YouTube Hop. This month our theme is grateful. So I'm scrapbooking photos of my family because I'm very grateful for our family time together. I'm Emilee, and you found Emilee's Paper Caper, where we're all about scrapping our stash and getting some pages done. I hope you'll consider subscribing, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any ideas. Today I am doing some stash busting. I'm using some background papers. I don't like those letter I's in the corners, but I will cover them up. I have 5 photos for this 2-page spread, and for the embellishments I'm going to use this cut-apart paper. I think it may be a Simple Stories paper, but there are a number of elements that I really like on this paper, and I'm going to cut it up and use it to embellish this page. I have a lot of cut-apart papers like this in my stash, and I really do enjoy them, and it feels good to use them up. I'm going to use the section that says Love This Life as the page title. Off camera I've done some of the cutting, and now I can cut even further just to make the embellishments the size that I want them for the layout. I'll get the photos adhered to the photo mats. These are photo mats from my stash that I'm trying to use up. I just picked some kind of neutral basic colors. This page is all about the photos. And so I'm going to just get those adhered, and I'll do a lot of that off camera to save time. I do want to mention I end up swapping out that really light white card for the darker gray, just because I didn't want that white card to stand out quite so much on the background. I'm not cropping any of these photos, so this will be a very fast page to put together, but I do want to call attention to how I overlap elements to cover up dead space in one of the photos. And also I juxtapose the items that I'm going to add to the page so that they cover up the letters I on the background paper. I just don't think those go with my layout at all, and so I'm just going to cover them up. As I shuffle back through the cut-aparts, I'm slowly selecting the elements that I want to use on the page. I did think about a number of them, but I ended up going with the hearts, and one of the strips from this particular card says Create a Beautiful Life, and I'm going to use that strip. One of the photos were painting pottery, and so we were being creative, and that was kind of a fun activity, so I want to call attention to it with this little red strip. I'll have some, in lieu of journaling, I'll use this particular card I'm trimming now. It says Live Simply, Laugh Lots, Be Grateful, Dream Big, Give Love. I think about some of these other strips and then set it aside. I do really like this string of hearts that looks like it's sewn together, and I think that I'm going to use it on the layout, but I end up not using it. It just didn't feel right anyplace, but I'm sure I will use it on a card or on another page. I rarely throw anything out, so even though I auditioned this little strip for the page, I'll still save it in my stash and use it later. Love This Life will be the page title. I just want to trim that down so that it's a little bit smaller. I can use those yellow strips on something else, maybe a card or on another page. But I think this is a nice cheery page title and goes well with the photos. For the hearts, I thought about fussy cutting those out, but I end up getting my heart punch, one of my heart punches out, and I'm going to punch them out. They don't punch perfectly, but they punch well enough that I can cover up any mistakes. What happens is the bottom point on the heart doesn't punch exactly right, so I will just cover that portion of the red and blue heart. You'll see me do that a little later, but I want to show you how I'm able to trim the paper so that I can get the punch positioned so that I can punch that out. And I think this will make a really nice embellishment for the page. Off camera, I've done some adhering on the right hand side of the layout, and now I'm going to turn my attention to the left, and I want to call out how I'm letting things overlap with the 3 photos that are not cropped. I'm letting the page title overlap that top photo, and then I'm tucking the bottom photo up underneath because there's a lot of dead space in that photo, and I was either going to crop it or let it overlap. And now I'm letting this last photo overlap still a little bit, so everything touches, and that's pleasing to my eye. Now on the right hand page, I can work on getting those hearts adhered, and I'll show you how I cover up the imperfections in the bottom of the hearts. The yellow heart, it punched perfectly, and so I will let all of it show, but for the red and blue heart, I'll just cover it up just a bit. I'm usually not very picky about things not being perfect, but in this case, the bottom of those hearts was going to bother me, but I could find a way to cover that up, that imperfection up, without having to throw those away or worry much about it. So now I'm going to add a label, and just to date the layout. I hope you'll take time to check out all the other ladies linked and listed in the description. They will all be using the same theme this month of grateful. What are you grateful for, and are you scrapbooking about it this month? I'd love to hear about that in the comments. And let's keep on scrapping. Here is a link to a video about my gratitude album this year. Let's keep on scrapping our stash together.